I suppose the beginning of this story truly began the moment the cracks in my marriage stopped being subtle and instead demanded to be seen. I can trace it back with clarity now, that sharp moment when the illusion shattered. It wasn't the late night she excused away or the sudden secrecy with her phone, though in hindsight, those were warning signs. No, the true turning point came when she started flaunting things that didn't belong in the quiet, modest world we had built together. Emma and I had been married for 12 years. We weren't wealthy, but we lived comfortably, steadily. I ran a small contracting business, honest work that kept food on the table and bills paid. Emma worked part-time at a local boutique and spent the rest of her time raising our 2 children. Life wasn't glamorous, but it was ours, or at least, I thought so. The change didn't come like a storm. It crept in like fog, subtle, clinging, slowly obscuring what used to be clear. A delicate gold bracelet appeared on her wrist one afternoon, studded with tiny diamonds that sparkled far more than anything we could realistically afford. I asked her about it, and she laughed, waving off my concern. "Just a gift from a friend," she said, too breezily. Then came the handbag, a designer piece I recognized from storefronts we used to walk by and scoff at. We'd always agreed those kinds of luxuries weren't for people like us. When I asked where it came from, she just smiled and said it was a small indulgence, something she'd treated herself to. But the day she pulled into our driveway in a sleek, black BMW, grinning like she'd just won the lottery, that was the moment the curtain finally dropped. Our aging minivan sat off to the side, looking dejected, almost ashamed. I stood there, frozen, my heart thudding in my chest. "Whose car is that?" I asked, the words barely forming around the knot in my throat. "It's mine," she said, flipping her hair over her shoulder with practiced nonchalance. "A gift from someone who appreciates me." The world tilted on its axis. There was no pretense left, no careful lies or attempts to explain it away. She didn't even bother to hide it anymore. That was when I really knew. I knew about him, I knew about them, and I knew, deep in my marrow, that I couldn't let it slide. I'm not a man prone to violence. I don't act without thinking. But betrayal, the kind that slices deeper than any blade, changes something in you. It burns away the softness and leaves something sharper behind. I didn't confront her, not at first. Instead, I watched, I listened, I planned. Late at night, while she slept beside me like a stranger, I combed through her phone records, her messages, her movements. I traced the pattern until his name emerged like a stain. Greg. I'd never met him, but I didn't have to. I could imagine him perfectly. Slick smile, polished shoes, and the hollow charm of a man who plays with hearts like poker chips. He wasn't just a passing fling. He was the bank behind her sudden lifestyle. My blood boiled, but I kept my composure. A messy reaction would only make me look weak or desperate. I needed to stay focused. Every move had to count. So I crafted my revenge, not in rage, but with cold precision. The first strike was designed to get their attention. Emma had always loved gifts. Ironic, considering what followed. I decided to give her and Greg one to remember. I called a buddy of mine, a combat veteran who'd served overseas. The man could build anything. I wasn't looking to hurt anyone, but I wanted impact, something unforgettable. He helped me construct a package that looked innocent, even elegant, but was designed for chaos. It was a loot box, fitted with a compressed air canister and a packet of deep red dye, harmless but potent. When opened, it would erupt in a plume of powder that stained anything it touched: clothes, furniture, skin. For weeks, I wrapped it in golden paper, tied it with a silk ribbon, and attached a handwritten note to Emma and Greg, with love. I had tracked Greg down to his office and left the package there, marked urgent. Then I waited. The next evening, Emma burst through the door, her face a blotchy, furious mask of crimson. The dye had seeped into her skin, clung to her clothes, and streaked down her arms like war paint. "What the hell did you do?" she screamed, her voice raw with humiliation. I looked up from my beer, blinking slowly. "What are you talking about? Don't play stupid. The box, you sent it to Greg's office." I leaned back, arching a brow. "Greg," I repeated, feigning confusion. "Who's Greg?" Her mouth opened, then shut, her lips trembling, no words coming out. She looked like a fish flopping on dry land. Instead of answering, she spun around and stormed off to the bathroom. Slamming the door behind her, I didn't follow. I let her sit with it, let her stew. But that was just the appetizer. The main course took time, weeks. Actually, I collected every shred of evidence I could find, screenshots of texts, pictures, financial transactions, everything. It was all laid out, neat and damning. Once I had enough, I hired a lawyer and filed for divorce, citing adultery. New York might be a no-fault state, but hard evidence can still tip the scales when dividing assets. Then I made a few more calls. Greg's wife, oh yes. He was married to, had no idea what her husband had been up to. I made sure she found out. I mailed her a package with copies of everything I'd uncovered. Her response was swift and volcanic. Turns out Greg had been siphoning money from their shared accounts to finance his little fantasy life with Emma. Their marriage didn't just unravel, it exploded. The final stroke was public. Emma and Greg had done everything in the shadows, careful not to leave a trail until I lit one. Using a burner phone, I sent an anonymous tip to a local gossip blog. I included photos of Emma flaunting her gifts, screenshots of Greg's bank statements, and a detailed, scandalous narrative connecting every dot. The story spread like wildfire. Emma's reputation tanked. Her boutique job vanished almost overnight. No one wanted to shop at a place run by that woman. Greg's business took a hit too. Clients pulled out, distancing themselves from the wreckage. They thought they could build a fantasy on someone else's back. I made sure the entire world watched it crumble. In the end, the divorce moved swiftly. I kept the house, the savings. I gained primary custody of our kids, who mercifully were too young to fully understand the storm around them. Emma, jobless and disgraced, moved in with her parents. The BMW sat in the driveway for days before she finally left it behind. As for Greg, last I heard, he fled the state, trying to piece his shattered life back together in a place where no one knew his name. And me, I'm doing better than fine. Life with the kids has taken on a new rhythm, one filled with laughter, quiet dinners, and unburdened mornings. There's peace now, real peace, not the brittle illusion I clung to for years. Do I regret what I did? Not even a little. Some might call it petty or vindictive. Maybe it was. But sometimes justice isn't delivered in courtrooms or through calm conversations. Sometimes it needs a personal touch, and I made damn sure they never forget mine.